part of PKF International Network, and we have a lot of inbound and outbound work and international work. So we wanted to bring Chris and JP to shed some light on what's going on. Chris served as chief strategist at several banks, including Alpha Capital, Troika Dialogue, and Sberbank, CIB. He's a frequent contributor to the Financial Times, Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg, CNBC, and others regarding the region. He was also voted Best Russia CIS Strategist for 2013 to 2014 in separate surveys carried out by II and Thomson Reuters. So he has a lot to cover with the region and answer our questions. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to JP.
Our focus is really primarily the CIS and the Eurasia Economic Union, the former states of the USSR. Chris and I are both refugees from the investment banking world, and what really kind of led to the conversation that led to founding Macro Advisory is that over time it became clear that the investment banking platform had become increasingly a challenge to produce independent research. We pride ourselves on being independent, having no axe to grind. There's many think tanks and macroeconomic and political firms out there, but they generally have a house view. They have, while the banks may have an axe to grind in the sense that they have their deal flow, many of these firms have a particular political orientation. We pride ourselves on being completely independent. We work with our clients to basically help them play the cards that they've been dealt, look at the various political and economic issues, and help them sort of separate the wheat from the chaff and filter out the noise to make sound investment decisions. And our client base is primarily investors, both portfolio investors as well as strategic investors.
And Putin refers to him consistently. Now, delusional or what, it doesn't matter, that's the fact. He refers to the guy, he tries to emulate him. He built a statue to him outside the Russian White House several years ago. In other words, Putin still believes that he can be responsible for developing the economy and creating a much better kind of economic, kind of social backdrop, and in the end people will build a statue to him as a great reformer. Take it for what it is. That's the way, it seems we hear consistently from people who work in the Kremlin and around the administration that this balance is constant. Russian assets look cheap after the shakeout. So are they as cheap as they look? Are the risks getting better or getting worse? And is the timing for somebody to look at Russia, is this now a good time, or is it still far too early in terms of economic and political risks? And there's a lot of noise, and of course this week even more noise, and there's a lot of political stuff, and of course the whole investment story being completely shrouded with everything that's happening geopolitically, and with submarines on cables in Syria, etc.